Hello, YouTube. I really wasn't going to talk about this, but I feel like, you know what? It's on my mind. Let's talk about it. Just got my hair done, my wash and set. The inflation, it actually went up. It's actually $52. I'm like, yo, before it was 45. It's crazy, but it was worth it. I'd rather pay $52 for my hair to be healthy, because braids, honestly, it'll make your hair grow, but having braids all the time is not good. I definitely want braids in the future, but I was like, for now, let me just get a wash and set. So yeah, but I wanted to talk about city jobs and are they worth it. And when I say city jobs, I mean like school safety. I mean like HRA, all these city jobs. I'm not talking about DOE, but I'm talking about other little city jobs, court officer, stuff like that. I just wanted to say, I actually took the test for school safety in 2011. A girl that I went to school with, Mega Eva, she put me on. We took the test for free. I don't know what happened with her. She never became a school. I guess she failed too, but I failed. I got a 55. I remember the score because they tell you like right then and there. I also took a city test for clerical worker. I got a 60. The passing grade was 65. Court officer, I actually went to training classes and prepared for the test, and I still failed. I also took the test for 911 operator, and I failed that too. And I'm very transparent about that because I don't care, because at the end of the day I have a bachelor's, and some people try to put you down and say, oh, a bachelor's don't mean you smart. Yes, it do, because you have to do papers, you have to take midterms and finals. So now for me, I could be honest enough to say I only studied for one midterm, and that was art. The good thing about school is you have to do homework and extra credit to pass a class. So that's like the main thing. And then some professors, they don't give tests, so that's the good thing. Tests don't mean you smart or not smart, but it does take a certain discipline. And for me personally, I cannot take a test that's more than 2 hours. The good thing about school is they would never give you a test more than 2 hours. Never. Your midterm, the most is going to take you is an hour and a half. Because I heard like for certain like nursing tests, I think sometimes those are long. I know the bar exam for law school is 6 hours. I could never do that. That's insane to have a 6-hour test. But I think they do that because they want the person to fail. Like, it's set up for you to fail. And I feel like for the city test, people who pass sometimes still don't get picked for the job. And I wanted to talk about that. And I wanted to just talk about jobs in general. You have to use your discernment. Now, I went on nyc.gov back in 2013. They never called me. And I just wanted to talk about jobs in general. God will provide. Sometimes it may feel like a little struggle or whatever. Like right now, my rent went up, and I can't pay my rent all in full like I used to. I have to pay it in increments. So every time I get paid, I pay a little bit at a time. And that's okay, because I still have a place to live. I'm not crazy behind in rent. I have food to eat, and I'm good. I got clothes on my back, shoes on my feet, and I have my necessities and then some. I'm able to save. Not really as much as I would like to, but life is generally okay. I'm not in no serious debt. The only bill I really have is the Macy's bill for my dining room table and my phone bill, Netflix and Prime. Literally, those are my only bills. And then rent. I don't have any loans. Thank God for COVID relief checks and stimulus checks. And just the person I am, I don't like extra bills. I always make sure I get that tax money. I pay people off, and stuff like that. And yeah. But I have to make this public service announcement because I feel like it's happening to a lot of people. And I just wanted to let people know to please take precautions to these city jobs when you get picked, because I think that they low-key scamming. And I actually wanted to make a report. I'm gonna call 311 and I'm gonna find out what I could do, because I feel like they are scamming. Okay, so my ex-boyfriend, now my homeboy, he does corrections and he didn't have any issues. It was very easy for him. He lives in Albany with his wife. It turned out good for him. Now my ex-boyfriend, however, he didn't take a test. That's a red flag right there, right? That's red flag number one. And then he got picked for corrections, and I told him right then and there, that's a red flag. It might be a scam. You know, it might be from the agency, but somehow or another these people scamming, right? So he was going into the process. Wow, my hair really grew. So he was going into the process of corrections. He got his transcript from Erasmus. That's the high school he went to. He did all of that, and then the chick going to say, oh, you opened it, you have to send me another one. Now I don't know if he opened it, but this is what he's saying. Like, the girl sounded like she was bullshitting him. And when I told my homeboy, because my homeboy, he went through the process like this. It was nothing. He took the test, he passed. He went through the processing, and within about 2 months of all of that, he started working as corrections, right? It wasn't no bye-bye after a while. And I wanted to make this public service announcement to let people know, anytime somebody's dragging your processing, they're not going to hire you, right? So they was dragging his processing. He was blaming himself, saying, oh, he was the one taking a long time. I said, no, it was other little things he said that I can't remember, but she was bullshitting him. And I was telling him, I said, first of all, there's no way you got picked for corrections and you didn't have to take a test. So then he was like, oh, your homeboy lying. I said, my homeboy has no reason to lie to me. Like, that's not the type of friendship we have. He's very truthful. I said, but you be lying to me, though. Like, so, you know, I felt bad. Even though my ex-boyfriend had his flaws, I felt bad because he was really looking forward to this job. He was getting tired of working where he was at. You know, it's just sometimes you just get tired of a job. You want a new one. But I told him, I said, well, maybe this is a sign that you're supposed to stay at where you at. And that's not necessarily, and I was telling my coworker, I said, it's all up to God. You know, even when I was going through this processing, and I finally told the dude I am not interested no more, because there's no reason how I'm filling out application information via online over and over and over again, and on your end you still don't see it. That's a red flag from the universe that I'm not supposed to work with y'all. And that really pissed me off, because I know that I put every employer that I worked at. He gonna say, oh, you have a gap between 14 and 16. I worked between 14 and 16. And then he was like, oh, if you didn't work, you're supposed to put who supported you. Why is that y'all business? That to me is unprofessional as hell. Why y'all need to know how that doesn't make any sense to me. First of all, I don't have any gaps in my resume. I've never had any gaps in my resume. The only time when I wasn't working was 2010 and 11, and I was in trade school and volunteering, right? So there was never a time when I just wasn't doing shit with my life. That was fall of 2010, and that was like the only time that I just wasn't doing shit. But right after that is when I went to Medgar Evers, that spring of 2011. And then that same year, 2010, I was volunteering and got my certification for medical administrative assistant. But definitely in 2014 to 16, I did security. I worked at Barclays, Steiner Studio, Quality and Protection Services, and then finally World Trade Center, all security jobs, and then I started with the DOE in 2016. So how you gonna say I have a gap? There's no way that I'm gonna put I was unemployed. Why would I put that? And I know I was working. They said from my birthday 14 all the way to 16. I said the fact that it says that on your end, something is wrong on your end. And on that note, I'm no longer interested in the position. Thanks, but no thanks. Like, that's such a turnoff. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you saying? Like, what? And then on top of that, he's like, please click on submit. Like, it was like a whole email saying what I didn't do. And I know I filled it out. That's the thing that pisses me off. Then on top of that, I sent you my resume. And I know my resume says that I was working from 14 to 16 because from 16 till now, I've been with the DOE. And then before that, it clearly says where the fuck I was in 16, 15, and 14 as well. So the fact, because my resume goes back to 2012, right? I'm able to squeeze all that in. So the fact that you would say, oh, there's a gap in your resume, how the fuck is it a gap on my, like, just talking about it pisses me off because it's like, it just shows how unorganized this agency is. And if you're that unorganized with my paperwork, how unorganized is to work for y'all? Like, I don't even want to, and it's crazy because I have another ex-boyfriend, my military ex. His aunt works for HRA. I want to message her so badly, like, because she been with HRA for years. And she never, like, really complained about her job. But for me personally, I can't see myself working with ignorant-ass black people. I'm sorry, not sorry. Like, I was on food stamps for a very short period in my life. And I only went on food stamps because everybody was saying, oh, go get them stamps, whatever. And I had food stamps for, how long was I? I feel like I had it for about a year, and that was it. Like, I was done. Because, first of all, the people that's in that office trying to get assistance, a lot of them don't need it. A lot of them are married people with jobs, and they trying to scam the system. And for me, my personality, I don't judge people. But it's like, if you trying to scam the system and then you gonna curse me out for not helping you scam the system, I'm gonna ignore you. Like, I could really see myself ignoring somebody, laughing at them. That job ain't for me. Because I thought when it said homeless services, I'm thinking, okay, maybe I'll be working in a shelter, helping people get jobs, helping people, right? Then it went on to say, you could be working anywhere from a Medicaid office to food stamp office. Medicaid and food stamp office? I'm not working in no fucking food stamp office. Like, I can't envision, that's some ghetto ass shit. Like, no, I'm not doing it. No. And then the pay is low, $46,000. First of all, y'all make so much money. Like, the city makes money off of people on these assistance programs. Why is the pay so low? $46,000. Like, I might as well, like, I'm a superpower. I might as well be permanent and start working after school. And and I was really thinking about that. Like, I was like, if this job doesn't go through, or if I feel like this is not the job for me, I feel like this is, and that's what I wanted to talk about today. Like, sometimes the jobs that you want and then you find out that it's BS, that's God trying to tell you to stay where you are. And I feel like I just texted my cousin and I was giving him an update on everything. And I was like, you know what? I had to really sit down and think, like, I'd rather change Pampers of autistic children all day, every day, than to work with an adult that's asking for food stamps who don't need it. Because most of the people who's in the food stamp office, they don't need it. They be having cars and Lamborghinis and some of them Mercedes-Benz and BMWs rolling up talking about some, oh, yeah, can we get food stamps? No. And stop asking me. Like, I'm a type of caseworker. I would probably ignore people. Like, like, you work for MTA, your husband works for MTA, y'all have 1 or 2 kids, y'all own a home with 2 cars, y'all go on more vacations than I do, and you asking for food stamps? The answer is no. I would say blatant no. Then you got people who it's a career for them, right? You got people that's career welfare people that they popping out 5 kids and that's their hustle. They in there pregnant with their 5th kid on food stamps. Like, bitch, you could get a job. Your oldest kid could watch the rest of your kids. And then on top of that, the welfare recipients, they kids is in daycare for free. While working class, you have to pay. Or like ACD, I had ACD. I didn't have to pay much. I was on unemployment at the time, but I was in school. So it went by you had to be going to school, which I agree. You got to be doing something with your life to get daycare. But with welfare, you don't have to do anything. So people like that, in cases like that, I could tell like that job is not for me. Because I would be ignoring the shit out of people. Like, and people like, oh, people act like it's their money. Yeah, because it's like, you know, how I look like helping somebody get a place to live and they don't even fucking work. I was thinking about that. I was like, that would irk my nerve. People who, you know, try to cheat the system. Like, I know. And even if they don't, it's just that environment is depressing. And you're not really making a difference. And I'm a type of person making a difference, making a legacy. And I had to really think about it. Like, I do love what I do. I like what I do. It's just certain things I don't like. The politics and stuff like that. But I like what I do. I love children. I love working with children. And I think I'm going to make it work. I think this is a sign that I need to stay. You know, so it's like, so back to like my ex-boyfriend. Yeah, so he was going, I don't know what's up with him. I blocked him, but he was trying to get into corrections. And my homeboy, he was like, he needs to report that lady because it sounds like she bullshitting. It sounds like she not doing her job. And my other cousin, she is an investigator. She's the person that when you pass the test, she calls you for all your information. And so yeah, so she was saying how, yeah, she works with people who don't do their job and sometimes it falls on her. So it's definitely true that you have these people that they just, you know, whatever. And then the person that was supposed to be processing me was like some Asian chick. She was ignoring my emails. I don't know what was going on. And then the guy, I was so happy that he emailed me today. Because if he would have emailed me that Tuesday, I would have been tight. Because my fingerprints was for Monday. And so I was happy he emailed me. And then they was telling me I had to take a test. I cannot do city tests. I cannot do it. Because the fact that I took 4 and I failed all 4, that says something about me. And I'm okay with that. You know, those jobs are not for me. and I could live with that. And I'm okay with that, you know. So, you know, yeah. I had another coworker and she also got lucky with finding better. She got rejected from school safety. Mind you, she got a 95 on the test. They collected her money. She had to pay for her own background check and all of that. Just like that's another thing. You got to pay for your own shit. Fingerprint and all of that stuff you got to pay for. And then they tell you straight up, no refund. So they know what they're doing. And then also with my position with the caseworking thing, I purposely put no test. Like I clicked on a job that said no test on the NYC.gov, and then they telling me it's a test, $68. that, you know, you have to be on unemployment for them to waive it, which is true because for school safety, I didn't have to pay because I was on unemployment at the time, back in 2011. But, you know, I don't like that. The fact that they talking about some 2014 to 2016, it says you got a gap. I was working during that time I was working all that time, and I know for a fact that I filled that out. Why would I not fill that out? Then on top of that, y'all have my resume. So even if I didn't fill it out, what do it matter? Like, what does it matter what the fuck I did with my life between 14 and 16? Y'all already wanted to know where I lived for the past 20 years, which I filled that out. Then y'all talking about some, if I didn't work between 14 and 16, that I have to put who supported me during that time. What does that have to do with me getting the job? Like, y'all are reaching. Like, y'all, it's just like, it's crazy. But anyway, when my old coworker, she got a 95 on the school safety test, and then they turned around and told her that they didn't have no more room in the training room. I'm like, that's fucked up. But lucky for her, she got a job working at 9/11 Memorial, and that was she was making really good money. And then after that, she started working for NYCHA, and you know, she's on, you know, and now I think she does something else, but she found better than school safety, you know. And then my other military ex, he, same thing, he passed the school safety exam too, and he paid all that money and they left him hanging. So these people are scamming, y'all. Like, I'm not gonna say don't take the city test and don't take a chance, but listen to your gut instinct. And yeah. So the first red flag for me was when I had the first red flag was they picked me for processing, and there was no interview and there was no test. They just said, come on down, you've been selected for a job. I'm like, okay, whatever. So then I get processed, and they're like, you have to pay $25 and then another $9 for money orders. I got the money orders, and they say, these the wrong money orders. You got to get it from the post office. I didn't think anything of it. I go to the post office, whatever, and then I made an appointment to come back. That guy told me that you have to take a test, otherwise you get laid. You'll be the first one to get laid off. I said, will I be working first? He said, yeah, you're able to work first, and then you'll take the test later on. Why today I get an email saying, in order to work, you have to take the test? Had I known there was going to be a test, I would have never wasted my time. I took a day off of work to go up there. I didn't get paid. I'm a substitute. I don't get paid for the days I take off. That really ticked me off and pissed me off. You know, it's like I took a day off of work for y'all to process me. Now I'm being told I have to take a test before I start working. I'm no longer interested in the position. And then on top of that, with they have something called CPD or whatever you have to fill out. I filled that out so many times. And then I'm being told, oh, there's a gap. There's no gap in my resume. I worked from 14 to 16. What is you saying? So that was like a complete turnoff for me. I said I'm no longer interested in the position. I really thought about it. I was like, do I want to work with people who want to scam the system? Because that's who's in the HRA. that's who mainly is in there. Lazy people and people who trying to scam the system. Very few people on food stamps actually need it. This country is so rich. And then you have black people who, oh, everybody else is getting it. So what? First of all other races, they have businesses and they thriving and striving. You know, and it's like when you see your own race of people being ignorant, it's like, no. I'd rather educate children. I'd rather be around children and their ignorance than to deal with adult ignorance. Because I had to really sit and think about it, like, do I want to be going through all that stress and drama for $46,000 a year? I don't think so. I really don't think so. You know, because it's ghetto. Like, it's no other way to describe that job. It's ghetto. you know. And they said it in the email. You could be working anywhere from a Medicaid office to a food stamp office to homeless services. They don't know. They don't know where they're gonna place me. So I'm like, I don't really want to do that job. You know. And court officer, I didn't want to do that job either, because court officer is boring. You basically a security guard with a gun in the court. You stand there all day. That's not very exciting, you know. Now they get paid well. That's the difference. So they might go through their little drama, but they not really doing much and they getting paid well. And at least they have a gun to protect themselves. HRA office, somebody hit you, you can't carry a weapon. Then on top of that, why does somebody need a background check and fingerprinted to work with people in a welfare office? What? Like, make it make sense, boo. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Why do I have to take a test to work with people on welfare? Does that make sense? Like, I know I'm not the only one who feel like this. Like, why do I have to take a test, a 3-hour test? The test is not cheap. This is $68 for a test that I know I'm going to fail, because I'm not a good, anything that's more than 2 hours, I'm not good at. So why are you putting people through this? And then that doesn't guarantee employment. I know that much. That doesn't guarantee employment. So that's why I'm like, I'm no longer interested. I'm not going to even waste my time, because I know I'm not going to pass the test. And even if I pass, y'all going to come up with, I still didn't fill out the CPD papers. Like, I'm like, yo, my gut never lies. And yeah. So I just want y'all to comment, like, and subscribe. If y'all have ever been through any city test bullshit, please comment, like, and subscribe. And yes, I am calling 311 because this should be illegal. Like, they are charging people money orders and saying you got to pay for this and that, and then they're not being truthful. Like, if I would have known I had to take a test, I would have never applied for this job. It specifically said no test, because I know I'm not good at city tests. So why would I keep putting myself through that? It's not cheap. I don't have money like that to be wasting, to be told, oh no. No, like, no. Yeah. So I want to know, YouTube world out there, have y'all ever took a city test and passed or failed? Or were you like my people that I know, y'all passed but you were never called? Or were you like me, you were told after you paid your money that you had to take a test? You know, were you lied to? You know, like, let me know. Comment, like, and subscribe.